You know, whenever you buy vintage antiques, you pretty much got to plan on some type of maintenance. You know, we live in a day and age where we just throw away everything, you know? We don't really maintain a whole lot. And if we do, it's probably something like a car, something that is really, really expensive. And if you don't maintain it, well, you know, you're just going to be out of luck. You're not going to be able to get to work or go wherever you want to go. So I picked up 2 vintage pieces recently, and I've been trying to figure out how best to talk to you guys about it, and you know, in what kind of setting. Well, it's summer. I'm on summer break now, and if you didn't know, I'm a teacher. So one of the things I want to do is I want to go on a picnic. So I got 2 things here that's very suited for that kind of experience. Now I might get a lot of looks when I get out there, but you know, who cares, right? Take a look at this thing. It is very large. It's very heavy. What do you think it is? I'm not putting my clothes in it, I promise. Then we got this here. Now, like I said, whenever you buy antiques, you pretty much got to do some type of maintenance. Now, for this particular thing, I picked up on a Facebook Marketplace. And, you know, I know that the motor ran. I asked the guy, because the motor is probably the most important part. The second most important part is this. And I didn't ask about this. So he showed me a video before I went to pick it up. It was like an hour away. And I was like, all right, that's in really good shape. The motor's running and everything. Those of you who've been with me for a while, you know I got another one of these portable phonographs. But the price was just too good. I was like, yeah, I'll come by and pick it up. Now, besides the motor and the spring, this right here, this little part, this is called the reproducer. Now, the reproducer has lots of itty-bitty little parts to it that make it function. This is the reproducer that was on it, and it is not the original reproducer to this. So I don't know if someone was just trying to make it work or what have you, but anyhow, I digress. I had to order another one. Luckily, there's a place online that you can buy this stuff from, and along with it, you have to get needles. Because if you're new to 78s, you're supposed to like replace the needle for every single play, especially if you're a purist. Otherwise, like running the machine literally sharpens the needle, which I find fascinating. Now this over here, this is a picnic kit. Okay, so matching this with this is going to be a pretty enjoyable 1920s picnic experience. Now this particular model is a Columbia Graphonola, and this, I think it was made in 1928 is when they first started producing these. And this is a lot nicer than my other one. The brass furniture and everything on it is way nicer. The, I don't know, the mechanisms overall is just nicer than my other one. And it actually lasts twice as long. Often on my other phonograph, I have to crank it up halfway through for it to play. Now this has got a little button that shows the area where you can store some of your records. Now this particular phonograph came with children's records of all things. They all have like different children's songs, but one that really surprised me was this particular one here from Disney, and it's Pinocchio, 3 Cheers for Anything, and of course Jiminy Cricket. I'm going to play a little bit of Jiminy Cricket on for you. I don't want Disney to sue me. I think I can play 30 seconds without too much fear of retribution.
Present a little chap that no one sent.
Yours truly, they tell me I'm quite unruly.
On the hearth or in the head, or maybe on your window ledge.
You'll find me. I hope you won't mind me singing. Jiminy Cricket is the name. I'm a happy-go-lucky fellow.
All right, it's probably about 30 seconds. So I was just really excited to see that. Now, Jiminy Cricket came out, well, Pinocchio came out after the time period I generally speaking tried to collect from the 1940s. So that's just kind of fascinating to me. Now, when you get a phonograph, like I said, replace the needles. But this right here, you want to make sure it doesn't get damaged. So there's a place here where it stores away. And I'm going to show you up close. Now there's a little dial here as well, and you got your brake. Now the dial adjusts the speed. And most of them have some type of container, like this one's got a little brass flip top container. That way you can put your spare needles. You don't have to carry like a big old bag with you everywhere. Now this one over here, as you can see, the handle also needs to be tended to. This is the Universal Picnic Kit. Now it's most of it's original, and well, maybe half of it's original. Like this here, I don't have the plates. I need to find myself some enamelware plates that actually fit that. That's from an old Boy Scout kit. The forks are original, the knives are original, the spoons are not, and one of the thermoses is original, and the other is one that I had. And it came with 2 boxes that we're going to take a look at. Let me move the camera so you guys can see up close all the details of this cool thing. Just show you real quick. You can see how that mechanism works. Down here you can see the finer details. This is a little dial, has fast and slow, so you can adjust the speed. You can see the reproducer there. This is the brake. Then you got your little container for your little needles, and that's it. Like, there's not a whole lot to it. One of the really cool features about this one compared to my other one is it has this hidey hole handle. Whereas the other one, I have to take it, unscrew it off, and I have to store it in the case itself. Now I've had to do some repairs. The stitching was completely out, so I had to tack in with some brass-headed nails. The original fabric strap here, which is completely dry rotted away, most of it wasn't even around anymore. So I replaced that, and I think for my particular picnic, I'm going to use a little bit fancier silverware than what we got here, and I'll show you. So we have your thermos, and we have 2 tin boxes. They're exactly the same. So I'm just going to show you the one. They're both in the exact same shape, as you can see, for like sandwiches. Maybe you can put some fruits and some vegetables in there for your picnic. Now, if you notice, the kit is set up for a service of 6, and I have no idea what these are for. So if you've got some thoughts on it, I've been trying to look for original ads, and I can't come up with anything. Now, I had 2 different types of thermoses here. The thermos that came with this, the glass bottle actually broke. So I actually replaced this one with my original just because it's got all the different cups. We've got a large cup and we've got 3 other nesting cups that are in a shiny nickel, which I thought was pretty cool. Got a little cork. Now this particular one I've had for years. I already showed this off in one of my previous videos, but this is a cup the same size. What I thought was kind of interesting about this particular one, it has the little D-rings, although it's completely impractical for using any type of, I don't know, like a teacup or something. But, you know, perhaps you could tie it and lash it onto something, make sure it doesn't get all crazy and break the glass or something inside of it. So there you go. Now, the big question I have, what should I take on my picnic? What 1920s food items would you take on a casual picnic with friends or family? Would you take fried chicken? Would you take egg sandwiches? I don't know. Leave a comment below. Give me some suggestions, because I will take one of your guys' ideas and I'll put that together and we will go out on a 1920s picnic together. Sounds like fun, right? Now, artifacts like these, there's a lot of them out there still, thankfully, and they're still in good shape. But there's no place that truly is all-inclusive when we're talking about outdoor recreation. And I am aiming to solve that with a bunch of others, but I need your help. We are starting the National Center of Outdoor Heritage. Now that's a pretty fancy name, right? But it is going to be the Smithsonian of outdoor heritage, outdoor recreation, from the time period of Native Americans and using those handcrafted skills, you know, living off the land, taking those necessary skills to survive in the wilderness that, you know, after colonization, people adapted to this land. Up until today with modern fabrics and materials, and of course the golden age of camping. It is going to be all-inclusive. It is going to be the Smithsonian of outdoor recreation. And we need your help. We need your support. So if you are interested in supporting us in some way, you know, whether it be financial support, helping us get the word out, whatever it takes, we really appreciate it. In the description box below, there's a link for you to see all the different options and how you can make this a reality. Now, the hub for this movement is, of course, the Camp Crafters Guild, which we still have a free option for the Camp Crafters Guild. But if you want more access and more opportunities and actually have a real stake in this museum, there are options out there for you, and we'd really appreciate it. So again, that's in the description box below. Now, if you are not yet aware, we also have the Press and Mess Kit. Now, the Press and Mess Kit is something that I am personally reproducing. It's being made over in India out of 316L stainless steel. It comes with a 54-ounce stainless steel canteen, comes with a cup, comes with a skillet, comes with a plate. And what I think is really amazing is you take that skillet and you plate, put it together, and now you got yourself a container or a baking device. I think it is the best personal mess kit ever invented, and this came out in the late 1800s, and it got promoted by Abercrombie and Fitch and various other outdoor outfitters, and especially to the affluent. So you could own your piece of history. All right, so that's also in the description box below. Now, if you like this video, please click like, because it helps other people find it. We really appreciate it, helps us out. If you would like to see more about the Press and Mess Kit, you can check it out here. If you'd like to see videos about my other camp crafting gear, then check it out here. I hope you guys have a wonderful week. Give a kiss and hug to your loved ones, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care.